My father's birth certificate. Huh. Born in 1896. So I decided to go back to the village where I was taken in Hungary. By now, it's no longer, now it's Czechoslovakia again. I get there. Do I know if anybody's alive or not? No. So I asked the first person who I see, a farmer. You know, it's a small village. And he tells me, yes, the two people, a husband and wife, Roths, came back. I run over, I open up the door, and there's my mother. So being very cool, I say, hi, Mom. My mother fainted. She could not catch her breath. My parents survived because when we were taken, my father and mother were in Budapest. Because when we came to Hungary, my father needed a job. So he and my mother went off to Budapest and got a job. So what happened to them? What happened is Budapest, they start taking the Jews in Budapest in July, April, us in May, June. Before the Jews of Budapest were being shipped, my father one morning doesn't get up. My mother goes over and talks to him, and he's not moving. Shakes him. He's breathing but not moving. He's in a coma. He got typhus. So they get him to the hospital and they examine him, and the doctor says he's going to die. There's a night nurse just going off duty, and she looked at my mother. So her husband is dying. Her kids, she has no idea where they are. She wants to give her hope. So she tells my mother that even though the doctor said he's going to die, she says, why don't you pray that he doesn't die, because it's possible. Every night, she comes on duty to my father's bed. She begins to make sure that he has some IV flowing, that oxygen is flowing, and talks to him. This goes on night after night after night. He's in a coma. And one night as she's talking to him, she looks at his face, and suddenly his mouth seems to move. At first, she thought it was a reflex, but then she hears sound. He says, how long have I been asleep? But the Jews of Budapest now are being shipped out. The Jews of Budapest are being shot on the street and dumped into the Danube. They need a place to hide. This wonderful lady, this night nurse, who is a Christian, says to my parents, if you have no place to hide, I live not too far from the hospital. I live in a one-bedroom apartment with my daughter and granddaughter, and my son-in-law is the Hungarian Nazi army. He is not at home. He's on the Russian front. Go there, I'll leave the door open, sneak in, make sure you're quiet all day, all night, be quiet. Then during the day, you mustn't move, you mustn't flush the toilet, you mustn't walk around, because the neighbors will know that somebody's there, they'll call the police. Not good. And they fix up a hiding place inside the apartment. So anytime the police come and look for Jews, they don't find them. Neighbors come in to chat. They don't find them. They don't know they're there. And this goes on week after week after week. And one night there's a knock on the door. Into the hiding place they go. It's the son-in-law who comes home for 3 days. The wife decides to explain to him that we have these two people, very distant relatives, who are living with us. It's a little crowded. Actually, they're not really living here. They're hiding here. And you mustn't tell anybody, because if you do, they'll be shot. And if you want to go to bed with me tonight, you're going to keep your big mouth shut. And so my parents survived because someone was willing to help. And that is the essence, one of the basic principles that I try to teach students and adults. When you see a bully, he's picking on someone. Don't stand by and do nothing.
So many bystanders during the Holocaust.
Millions.
Shameful.
Look, in my time when the Jews were being taken, didn't take thousands of people to do that. Who were they? They were people who joined the Nazi party, people who were policemen. That's who took the Jews. The rest of the group slept. They weren't involved. Next morning, the Jews are locked up in the synagogue. There is no running water. There are no bathroom. They went shopping for Sunday dinner. Did they bring food to the Jews? No.
Up next, he was reunited with his parents. But what about his brother, whose unwavering faith in God helped sustain Irving Roth during the Holocaust? Hear the tragic story after the break, only right here on TBN.